Show me your vision, and I'll show you your future. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Paraphrased. What we think about, we bring about. Script. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Paraphrase. To change our conditions, we must first change our minds. Script. Where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. And paraphrased. If you do not have vision, you will be lost, and life as you know it will continue to decline. But he who understands and applies the law of right thinking will be happy. That's Proverbs 23:7, Romans 12:2, and Proverbs 29:18 of the King James Version. A lot of us have been conditioned to labor and not think. What's interesting is that at the core of everything created, from a building, an invention, a company, a house, even an entire universe, is a vision or idea. When God created this universe, he didn't just close his eyes and blindly say, let there be water, or let there be land, or let there be stars. He first envisioned what his earth would look like and then created it, speaking it into existence. The very thing that most people miss is that soon after he created everything, he created us in his likeness and image. The Creator created us to be creative, and there's no way we can be creative without thought and without vision. He said, be fruitful and multiply, meaning be producers and increase, not laborers and consumers. Successful people have and hold on to successful thoughts, and poor people have and hold on to poor thoughts. So as creators, we continue to create and recreate our conditions. Hence, as a man thinketh, so is he. What we were misinformed about is that laboring, or grinding as we call it, doesn't produce prosperity, success, or wealth. Because as African Americans, we built this entire country, yet are the poorest ones in it. Why? Because for the lack of vision, the people shall perish or be lost. We know how to work, but we don't know how to think and then work effectively. Our minds must go to the place we desire to be first, and then the necessary work will be performed. Be ye transformed by the renewing of the mind. So the only way we transform from poverty to abundance, disease to health, work to purpose, is by renewing our minds and setting them on the truth of abundance, health, and purpose. Because laboring, disease, and poverty are all lies. Wallace D. Waddles, in his book, The Science of Getting Rich, said that to think what you want to think is to think truth regardless of appearances. To envision oneself in the health God created for you, in the family God created for you, in the wealth God created for you, and in the purpose God created for you, regardless of your late bills, miserable job, and poor health, is how you think truth, regardless of your current circumstances. Let's go to the Bible, particularly the story of Joseph. For those who are unfamiliar with the story of Joseph, allow me to catch you up to speed. When Joseph was 17, God gave him a dream that he will rise up and be great, and that his brothers will bow down to him. And after sharing the dream with them, they hated him even more. They eventually conspired against him to kill him, but settled for throwing him in a pit. That wasn't good enough. So they sold him to the Ishmaelites heading towards Egypt and told their father he had been killed by a wild beast. When he got to Egypt, he was sold to Potiphar, a high-ranked guard, who noticed the glory of God all over this man and made him head over the affairs of all he had. Stop. The glory of God couldn't be oozing off a bitter and angry man because of resentment towards his brothers. It had to be radiating from the mind and spirit of a man who's still holding on to the truth of God's promise. In this position, Joseph being extremely handsome, Potiphar's wife came on to him where he morally declined, so she tried to force him, ripping his clothes off as he ran out and then lied to the guards claiming he tried to take it. Potiphar, not knowing the truth, threw Joseph in prison. While in there, the head guard noticed the glory of God again radiating from this man and made him second in command of the entire prison. Again, his mind never held on to anger and resentment, only on the truth of the promise. While in prison, the Pharaoh became angry with both his chief butler and baker and placed them in prison, where in that same night they both experienced dreams. Haunted by these dreams, they shared these dreams with Joseph, who in turn asked the chief butler for interpreting the dream, that in his favor, once released, to remember what he did for him, and to tell the Pharaoh so he too would be released. He forgot Joseph for 2 years, until the Pharaoh had a dream that needed interpretation, and he shared with the king what Joseph did for him. Again, not bitter nor angry from being thrown in a pit and then sold by his brothers, being lied on and wrongfully incarcerated and then forgotten for 2 whole years, but was ready, still holding on to his truth when a chief butler came for him. He interpreted the king's dream and was instantly made second in rank over the entire nation for believing in his truth regardless of his appearances. Wow. Now, allow me to share with you an example of taking your mind off the truth. When Jesus was seen walking on the sea and approached their boat, Peter said, "Lord, if that's you, let me come to you on the water." Jesus said, "Come." And in faith, Peter stepped off the boat and onto the word of God, truth, and began to walk. But what made Peter begin to sink? When he began to pay attention to the boisterous winds, rains, and storms, he began to sink because he took his mind off the truth and started focusing on his appearances. As a creator, we must imagine where we desire to be first through vision. He said, "Whatsoever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and you shall have them." Meaning that after your desires are made known, begin to imagine yourself in your desires and operating in the emotion and feeling of what it will feel and be like once it's in your possession or becomes your circumstance to attract that very thing. Hence, the law of attraction. The thoughts of the diligent lead to plenty, and those of the hasty only to want. Because when we envision a thing, over and over and over again, never wavering. As creators, by law, it must come to fruition. Yet when we are given a vision but become impatient, we ultimately give up, resulting in still wanting a thing, but never holding the thought long enough to create the thing. It's in our belief, vision, and thoughts. He that believeth on me shall do the works that I do, and even greater works than these shall he do. If you truly believe that you are better than your current circumstance, then I need you to begin to envision yourself in the place you desire to be and never waver. Because where you are is only temporary. Your mind must create before your hands do any work. Rhonda Byrne said, if you see it in your mind, you're going to hold it in your hand. Peace.